everyone, peace be upon you. My name is Amal. Welcome to my channel. Um, Lately, I've been so inspired by so many things. I feel like as we're like coming towards the end of the year and entering a new year, finishing this chapter and entering a new chapter, um, I've been just like reflecting a lot, and I realized in this channel I've been speaking a lot about aligning, tuning in, listening to your intuition, bringing your focus back towards Allah, towards God, but I've never actually explained my own spiritual routine or my the esoteric practices that I do that truly helped me in bringing myself back into this alignment and detaching if I feel like I'm attaching and clinging into this world, that allow me to see things more clearly, to also move my body more spontaneously, to empty my mind and open my heart, and to heal the wounds and the hurts, and to know how to let go and to release. So I think these practices that I've been doing for right now for almost 5 years. So I think it's safe to say that they work. So just to give you like a little bit of a background or some kind of context of how I realized that I need to have some sort of a practices, and why do I feel like I need these things that brings me near to the divine and help me to align and allow me to walk towards my destiny and help me to fulfill the purpose and the promise I made to the divine. So 4 years ago, 4 to 5 years ago, I had the most intense spiritual experience. It was basically an ego death. I'm not gonna go into details uh, with my experience because I feel like these are kind of intimate, and I prefer to keep it a secret between me and God. But there is a reason why I think I had this intense experience and why I experienced basically ego death. It was because of one verse in the Quran that I was interested in. Like it just, when I read this verse, it was just like something um, made me like gravitate towards it. In general, I've always been interested in spirituality, the mystery of all these things, of like spirits and entities, the teachings, the spiritual teachings, all these things. I've been always interested in it ever since I was a child. So I've always wanted to experience this moment of like intense spiritual awakening, but I didn't know how. So this verse is فكشفنا عنك غطاؤك فبصرك اليوم حديد. It's in Surah Qaf. It's in that chapter if you're interested in just like going back to this surah and reading this ayah, which means that we have lifted the veil from your eye, or we have lifted the veil, and today your sight is sharp and piercing. This verse, I didn't repeat it, I didn't invoke it, I didn't recite it, I didn't do anything. I had this whiteboard and I wrote this verse in this board, and every day I wake up and I just look at it. I don't do anything. I'm not repeating it. I'm not trying to invoke the spirit of this verse or this ayah. I'm not doing anything. I'm just looking at it. Fasting forward, I had my ego death spiritual experience, and I witnessed something so great, so magnificent, so subtle, so penetrative, and so piercing. Until this point, I'm still in awe of that experience. It was like so terrifying, but so beautiful. It was so, it's like it pierced right through the veil. Like it hits the heart, it hits the spot. Something so like, so penetrative, like it destroy you in every way possible, but in a necessary way. Like this destruction was necessary, this intensity was necessary and is still necessary. This greatness, this magnificence, I was at that moment, I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna devote every breath, every action, every word to this greatness. This is the standards now. This is my standards now, and I shall live up to the standards. I don't know how. I don't know what I can do. I don't know if it's even possible to live up to these standards, but I'm gonna make it work. I trust. Something at that moment like just changed my brain, my whole life, my body, my spirit, my soul. Everything just like took a different shift. That's why like I'm still in awe of that moment. Like it's still present with me. It lives inside of me. It's a memory that I cannot erase. It's like an ancient memory that made me realize there is something so great, so magnificent, yet so subtle, so delicate. It penetrates, it opens the heart. It's like there's a flower, the flower blooms when it witnessed this greatness. It's like I've been inside of a cocoon, but when I've witnessed this greatness, I've been freed and I became a butterfly. It's something like, it is this experience. If you go through this, like, I don't know, ego death, spiritual experience, it depends. I think it varies from person to person, but it has that one factor to it. It's that, oof, this vastness, this greatness. And after that, you know, after this experience, I wanted to become more near to Allah, more near to the divine, because this magnificent, this greatness is me witnessing Allah. Like I fully believe that I've witnessed the greatness of Allah at that moment. So I was like, I need to do something to bring me near to the divine, to help me align with the divine, to awaken this intuitive guidance within me that leads me to the divine. I'm really grateful that I grew up as a Muslim, because the prayers and the fasting and all of these religious practices made me realize they have something within them, that there is some essence. But when you do them unconsciously and out of a habit, it loses that essence. But once you understand there is essence, there is a spirit to these practices, there is a spirit to these prayers. Why do I fast a whole month? Why do I pray 5 times a day? Why do I do this? Why do I read the Quran? Why do I do Dhikr? Why do I invoke the divine names? There is a spirit that is being invoked with these practices, and this spirit brings you near to the divine. It brings you back to your own nature, to your own fitra. It brings you back to this natural clear, clean, pristine state. So there is a wisdom inside of it. It's not there just to I don't know, control people or whatever it is, whatever people try to project the ideas they have and the trauma they had onto these practices. No, there is something deep. There is something, they unlock something within us. They unlock an ancient memory. They unlock our powerful abilities and capabilities. They help us to transcend all these lowly, lowly things that we do. At that moment, I realized that I'm not just gonna do this religious practices mindlessly, unconsciously. I'm gonna pay attention to how I feel. I'm gonna pay attention to the state they put me in. And I want to also like see if there is some sort of esoteric spiritual practices that help me and bring me nearer to the divine, that allow me to see things more clearly, that makes my sight sharp and that makes me focus and concentrated, that allow me to see the spirit of things, that help me to connect with my soul, and that help me to connect with my depth, that help me to navigate through these mystical spiritual realms, that help me to transcend all these temporal things. So slowly I started to realize that there are some esoteric practices that can help us to be more centered, more grounded, more rooted, but also more open to the divine inspiration, to the divine guidance, and to see reality, and to change, and to evolve, and to shift individually, internally, and to extend that shift and that change externally and to the collective. And that brings us back to harmony, to unity. So the first thing I started to do, I realized in Islam there is something that is called Salat al-Layl or Qiyam al-Layl, which literally translate into the night prayer. It's not the regular 5 prayers that you must do. It's a prayer that you usually do after midnight or around midnight. And it says that when you do it, it illuminates you. It opens you up. Always they say that around that time, it's like the time where God answers your prayer. I mean, God will answer your prayer in any time, but this time it's like a spiritual time. It has some type of like, it's because we're entering into this midnight and entering into this stillness and entering into this serene state. So when we do that prayer in this time, it's like we're entering this state of stillness, of serenity, of openness, of receptiveness. So we can feel the divine nearness, we can feel the divine inspiration even more. And so this night of prayer I've been doing for almost 5 to 4 years consistently. This is the practice that I will never like not do. It's like, I don't know, but I feel like it's a promise that I need to fulfill. Like, it's a promise between me and God, and I need to fulfill this promise no matter what, unless I'm excused or I'm sick or whatever. But I will do, like, I will never miss out in night prayer, because it's the time where I feel like I'm mostly near to the divine. And the night prayer, so basically I am a night owl. I stay up at like late at night, But I realized it's better to sleep and then wake up around this time. Why? Because when you sleep, it's like the little death. You enter into the unconsciousness, you enter into the unknown, but without but naturally and spontaneously. You're not afraid to enter this state because you just want to rest. It's time to rest now. It's time to just everything feels like shutting down, and I'm going back to sleep. I'm going back to this unconsciousness. It's like death, but we don't see it this way. So when we wake up from sleep and enter into this state of stillness and start to perform this prayer, it's like right now you are between consciousness and unconsciousness, right? It's like there is a door that is open in this state. You're not fully conscious and awake, but you're not fully sleep and unconscious. You're in between, between consciousness and unconsciousness. So when we perform the prayer at this time, it's like we're entering a mystical state, a spiritual realm that we can experience and see more vividly. And not only that, but when the door is open and you start to invoke, for example, divine name, or you do remembrance, or you do dhikr or mantra, or whatever your practice is, it's like when the door of the subconscious is open in that state. So the dhikr you do, the remembrance you do, the things, the divine name you invoke gets immediately pass through this door and go to your subconscious mind. And these dhikrs and these remembrance are different. They're not, to me at least, I don't think they are the same or equivalent as affirmation and subliminal messages. As someone who used to do subliminal messages and affirmation and create these things, this whole channel was created for these things, to reprogram your subconscious mind. But dhikr and the verses and ayat in the Quran is different. Holy words are different. It's not the same as I am beautiful, I am confident, I am this, I am this. I am has a power. I think affirmation and subliminal messages has some sort of power to them, and I've witnessed that personally. But dhikr and the verses in the Quran and ayat and the invocation of the divine name is different. There is a different spirit in these holy words. There is a different spirit in these divine names. And when you invoke them and they pass through this portal or this door and become stored in your subconscious mind, they will not only program your subconscious mind, they will not only program you, they will change your whole life. You will see the changes that will happen. You will see how you will become more intuitive. You see things more clearly. You are open to this inspiration. Your body starts to move spontaneously. Your mind becomes still and at peace. Your heart becomes so open and so expanded. It's like it changes this inner state. I realized these things actually align my actions with the knowledge I've been receiving. It helped me to actualize my own realization. How? Don't ask me how, but it's something. It changes something in your mind, in your brain, and it changes something in your heart, and you start to be more open. Your chakra are more open. Their spine gets awakened. Everything about you, mentally, spiritually, physically, in the astral realm, every realm, it penetrates every realm, and it works in every realm. So if you are physically stagnant and cannot move, they push you towards movement. If you are full of mental chattering, overthinking, doubt, insecurities, all these barriers, all these limitations, it cuts right through them. If your heart is closed off and um, you are traumatized and you are full of wounds and hurts, it will heal the wound spontaneously and so softly and so subtle. They are subtle, and that subtlety help to penetrate in the densest layer. So that's what I noticed. And when you do them consistently, you will notice how the change will happen spontaneously and naturally. And then there is also a practice that I do, which is dhikr. Dhikr to me is so important and so necessary, and it literally bring me back into that state of stillness. Why? Because dhikr, it's about like repeating something over and over and over again. Notice how when you listen, for example, when you listen to a song repeatedly, the lyrics roam around your mind and you start to like sing it in your head. Dhikr is similar to that. When you do dhikr repeatedly, it's like these divine invocation, these divine names or these verses or ayat that you invoke or you repeat over and over again. It's like they start to roam around your mind, and when they roam around your mind, they purify it. They literally purify it, and instead of being occupied by so many thoughts, they start to almost like bring back your mind, bring back your focus toward this singular point. And that singular point can be this verse or this divine name. Like I'm telling you, it's powerful because they lead you towards embodiment. They lead you towards actualization. Like after having so many realization and so many, just knowledge and wisdom, I personally felt that my actions are not aligned with what I know. I know that, like, I know these things. I know I need to do this. I know I need to stop, like, worrying about things. I know I need to trust. But it feels like there is some sort of disconnection within me that isn't, like, my actions are not aligned with my words. So I needed to do something. And by doing these practices, it's like I'm almost exercising the power of choice and free will. Because when we start to do these practices, we will have so many barriers. How can I like wake up at the middle of the night when I'm like entering this deep state of sleep and I'm just like enjoying this rest? How can I wake up and do these things, But something within you is yearning for a change, is yearning for alignment, is yearning to be more near to Allah. That yearning, that craving is deeper than my desire to just sleep. It's more deeper. So you feel that desire is actually motivating you towards making a choice, towards exercising the free will. We have the freedom to do these things. It's about your willingness. Are you willing to wake up? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to be consistent? Are you choosing to be consistent? We must exercise this power, the power of choice and the power of a free will, because through that we can enter even a deeper state, a state of no choice, of no individual will. Through that, we can enter the state of surrendering. I'm fully surrendered. I have no choice but to wake up. I have no choice but to do my dhikr. I have no choice. Like I'm not like making effort anymore, you know? So you must make the effort and slowly reach to that state of there is no effort whatsoever. You must do so you can slowly reach the state of non-doing. Internally, these practices bring you towards the state of stillness. It's like entering into the night. You know how the day softly shifts into the night? It's like internally you are softly shifting into the night. You are softly entering this to this stillness, into this serenity. And when we enter the state of the night, we will see the stars, the guiding stars, more clearly. We can see the moon and how it goes through phases and eventually comes into the fullness and illuminate this night. This is a process that actually happened within you. When we enter into this state of night, into the state of darkness, into the state of stillness, there is within you, there is a guiding star that guides you back towards your destination, that guides you back home. There is this state of this illuminating full moon that illuminate things that help you to liberate your mind. So it's all these things that happen in nature happens within us. Just when we observe nature, we will see how nature actually exists within us. One of the practices that I've been doing also is just go out and look at nature. Just see how things spontaneously move. Just live in harmony in nature. How can the day shift into the night so softly? Who do that? Like, who shift the day into the night and the night into the day? Who made these beautiful little birds that have this beautiful sound? And why this sound? Why do they make? Why every type of bird make like a specific type of voice? What are they saying? The mountains. I live near to the mountains and I'm always like, I love doing like these walking meditation things. Like I just like to walk. So I walk, and this, I don't know what it does to me, but this is one of the practices that I do, and I've been consistent with it, is just to walk. Just to walk, you know. I feel like it brings me back into my body, it empties my mind, and when I walk, I see the mountains. I can see them out of my window too. Like, what is so mountains are just so magnificent, so vast. It reminds me of something that is vast within me. How like, why do these things, why do these beings evoke these feelings within me? And what are these feelings are trying to tell me? Where are they trying to direct me? You know, I feel like everything to me, like right now, everything is like directing me towards Allah. Everything is directing me towards the divine. Regardless of the experience, whether it's good or bad, it's always like, there is a wisdom inside of it. There is a lesson. There is knowledge inside of it. And it's guiding me towards a deeper connection with Allah. You know, in this life, there is ups and downs. There is expansion and contraction. There is life and death. There is beauty and there is ugliness. You cannot deny one and lean too much towards the other. You cannot deny the ugliness that is happening right now in the world, the corruption, the killing of innocent people, and say everything is perfect, everything is beautiful, and everything is love. This is delusional. And one of the things that these practices makes you realize is that see the reality as it is. We live in like a life that has a dualistic nature to it. And I don't need to deny the reality of that and cling into non-duality and oneness. I don't need to do that because through the dualistic nature of life, I understand oneness and non-duality better. I don't need to lead towards love too much of this love and light and whatever, and completely deny the darkness, completely deny the spectrum of feelings. You know, as a human being, this is what the practices do, like invocation and dhikr and just meditation too. One of the practices that I've been doing is meditation. It's so necessary because it empties you, and when you are empty, you are open to receive. When you are empty, you feel that there is something deeper than this, you know. There is a soul. There is this intelligence, this divine intelligence that moves through everything, that moves everything. So one of the practices that I've been doing is meditation. It's necessary, and I would say Kriya Yoga have the best meditation instructions. So if you are interested in really deepening your meditation, try to read about Kriya Yoga and not skip meditation. It's very necessary, and I think it will, and I believe that's my own experience. You know, it makes you realize how to accept things. Acceptance of the reality is necessary. To deny and reject and cling into one thing is not good. You know, to deny our feelings of the feelings of anger, of sadness is not good. I think that as a human beings, we experience like a spectrum of emotions, and it's necessary because it guides us towards making some sort of actions. Why do we feel angry when we witness injustice? Why do we feel sad when we see innocent people are being killed? Why do we feel disgust when we like hear these pedophilia stories and celebrities that are doing all these weird things? Why do we feel that type of like disgust? It's necessary to feel these things. It's important to feel these things. How do you want, like, you cannot transcend this in a way where you deny it, you know? You cannot deny these feelings because these feelings are guide us towards certain things. But you always must feel your feeling in moderation. You don't dwell and drown, but you don't suppress and disregard them. It's very important because within feelings there is an intuition, a guidance towards something. So this is the journey, you know. Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't complicate things. Try to simplify things. Don't put so many barriers and conditions and just to dwell in your insecurities and things. No, no, no. Do these practices and it will help you to break through. And remember to always be with God. When you are with God, everything is easy. When you are with God, the impossible is possible. When you are with God, you don't need to do anything. The divine works through you. He works through you. When you are with God, everything is comes with ease and goes with peace. So always remember to be with Allah, to be with God, no matter what happens. Trust Allah, trust that He will open up things for you. He will always provide. He will always give, and He is the most generous. So always return to the source. Always go back to Him. Don't get caught up in these little things. Always go back to Him. And when you go back to Him, He will teaches you a lot. He will guide you, and He will answers your questions. He will answers your prayers. He will help you to be more compassionate, more forgiving, more understanding. He will open your eyes to the wisdom, to the knowledge, to what's happening in the world. He will help you to make this change, not only internally but also externally. You will help people around you. You will see and notice how people around you will spontaneously change this, because it's so truthful. It's a truthful experiences, and the words of the truth and the actions of the truth echoes inside of the minds. It changes like something in the whole environment. It changes your heart and reminds you of something so pure, so divine, and so beautiful. So this is indeed, I think this is gonna be a long video, but it's just like I feel like I've been pushed towards making this video, and I've been like so inspired lately. But yeah, I hope some of the things that I said resonates with you or inspire you somehow, some way. Thank you for listening to me, and maybe inshallah I will see you soon. Peace.